Sorry, I know I'm late to this, but I'm gonna try very hard to make it worth the wait, okay? Trust me. I'm gonna start off with a very sadly unpopular opinion by stating that I really loved this chapter of Jujutsu Kaisen. I think Gege's writing from Jujutsu Kaisen Volume 0 all the way until right now has been nothing short of exceptional, and I have an unholy amount of faith that Gege is about to drop a massive bomb on us. From what I've seen, a lot of people hated the chapter and have suddenly decided Gege is a bad writer simply based off the last 8 out of 254 chapters. Please guys, just let the man cook. I think it's awesome to see everyone take their 1v1 with Sukuna, except Hikari. He's too busy getting rizzy with the Rame, but I'm sure he's gonna come into play soon, alright? Anyway, point is, I absolutely love the chapter and I think Gege is cooking. Of course, he also might fumble the bag, in which case I would agree that it's pretty arse, but that's exactly what we're here to talk about. Before we do talk about it though, please remember to drop a like and subscribe since we are nearly at 5k, which is just crazy. I also have a Twitter/X account that you should also go and follow. Link in the description below. I'm fairly certain if you don't do all 3 of these things, then Hisoka will come for you, and trust me bro, you do not want that, okay? More. Anyway, enough blabbering, let's get into the chapter. Despite the chapter's crazy ending and everything it implied, we gotta start off this video by paying our respects to the grade 0 sorcerer, Kusukabe. Nobody, including myself, actually believed that Kusukabe would no-diff Sukuna, but what some people for some reason also didn't expect was for him to last longer than one single panel, let alone slice Sukuna up and then boot him across the town. I can proudly say that I stuck by Kusukabe ever since I saw him Perception Blitz Miwa and completely obliterate Kenjaku's Mahito Uzumaki. How y'all doubted him after all of that was simply crazy. Gojo, Nanami, and Meimei all come together to glaze Kusukabe just a little bit more in this chapter. The general gist of it is that they don't think Kusukabe is necessarily the heaviest hitter, but his incredible understanding for the basics and expert swordsmanship make him so much stronger. All the way at the beginning of the manga, Gojo says that he is way more wary of fighting someone with good basics than a fancy technique, which explains why Gojo thinks Kusukabe is so strong. Gojo also mentions how Kusukabe's simple domain requires absolutely no binding vows in order to activate it. He says that most sorcerers, like Miwa, need a binding vow such as not being able to move in order to get it to activate. Why Gege used Miwa as a reference here, I don't really know, because we all know how shit Miwa is, but we're just gonna move on and pretend like that didn't happen, okay? Kusukabe gets a little bit tired of all the glazing though, and shows us why he is the strongest grade 1 for himself. Kusukabe's simple domain will not fully neutralize dismantle, but it will boost Kusukabe's output and somewhat weaken Sukuna's dismantle attacks. Kusukabe then reveals that he can totally block incoming dismantles with automatic reflexes, his own personal touch to the simple domain technique. He also reads Sukuna's slashes via his movements and cursed energy sparks. Despite all of this though, Sukuna simply looks at Kusukabe as if he is a toddler that finally learned what 1 + 1 is, and honestly, he's not all that impressed. Kusukabe then nearly fumbles blocking Sukuna's slashes, which he did not move to throw, and we have seen him do this before, so stop freaking out and thinking it's the craziest thing ever. We know Sukuna can do this. I mean, do you not remember the time that he just deleted one of Geto's daughters from existence without moving a single muscle? Anyway, Kusukabe has had enough of Sukuna looking down on him, so he increases simple domain's radius to surround Sukuna, and then at a speed which my unemployed ass calculates to be at least Mach 420, he Hinokami Kusukabe's the shit out of Sukuna. The cuts may not be deep, but they are cuts nonetheless, and against a Heian era Sukuna that is no easy feat. Now please just remember that cursed technique Kashimo blasted purpled Sukuna with a giant hypersonic quantum gamma ray. It was a big attack, okay? The point is, it was a very big attack that he blasted him with, and it just did less damage than Kusukabe has done right now with his shitty sword. And yeah, maybe I like chapter 254 simply because it makes Kashimo's fraud status even worse somehow, and I'm so here for it. Now something I don't really understand is why Sukuna can't really do the world dividing slash when trapped in Kusukabe's simple domain. If this is actually the case, then why the f did he manage to do it inside Yuta's actual domain expansion? Please do let me know in the comments below because it's just driving me crazy and I have no idea. Anyway, Kusukabe Tanjiro's his sword into little pieces, but instead of breaking down and crying like a little baby, Kusukabe simply starts throwing hands instead. Not gonna lie, I think Kusukabe absolutely dog walks the Demon Slayer verse, and Kashimo to boot. Damn! Satoru Gojo, Yuta Okotu, Yuji Itadori, and Maki Zenin are the only sorcerers we saw throw hands with Sukuna the way Kusukabe just threw hands with Sukuna. Now, if you told me back in the Shibuya arc that one day Kusukabe was gonna Uramawash Heianara Sukuna across a city, then I would have blocked you instantly. As Kusukabe chases down his prey, he decides he must keep trying hard because he is the only one left between Sukuna and Miwa's army of fodder, and also for Principal Yaga, or the late Principal Yaga, should I say. I didn't care for this callback to Yaga at first, and I didn't even know they were close like that. But but then I saw him say that he was sad they couldn't fight together. Rest in peace, Yaga. Kusukabe then tries a weird sword recovery technique thing, but Sukuna catches it between his fingers and gives Kusukabe the Yageto treatment, which is healable by the way. Geto was brought back from Shoko a little while after he was injured, and if you're wondering why Yaga wasn't healed, it was because it was an actual official death sentence and Shoko simply wasn't allowed. With Kusukabe's moment to shine all wrapped up, it's time to get into the much more mysterious and plot-focused sides of this chapter. And yes, believe it or not, there are mysterious and plot-sided things to this chapter. Wee arrives on the scene to do his thing, but this time Sukuna is having absolutely none of it. Sukuna knew that Wee was collecting bodies ever since he noticed that Gojo's corpse was missing. However, the very fact that Sukuna is acknowledging Wee as irritating suggests that there is a flicker of doubt in his mind as to whether any of his victims actually are dead. Let's also not forget a fundamental weakness in Sukuna's mindset. He always looks at things in isolation. He assessed Shoko's capabilities and only Shoko's. His brain simply isn't wired to consider the possibility of Shoko having Utahime, Gakuganji, and potentially Okotsu himself working together to give everyone a fighting chance. He simply looks at what Shoko is capable of and nothing beyond that. And they also may have got some help from a special someone who decided he was feeling left out, so came to join all the fun. My point is though, with Wee still collecting bodies and Sukuna now revealing a glimmer of doubt, it does suggest that something is cooking behind the scenes. Something that might cause Sukuna a little bit of trouble later down the line. Sukuna stands directly above Wee and fires 3 big dismantles, but before they can land, Sukuna gets literally perception blitzed and Wee gets saved by the most unexpected yet most promising sorcerer around, Miguel. The first and last time we ever see Miguel until this point is in JJK 0, where he absolutely succeeds in his mission of buying 10 minutes of time for Geto by facing off against Satoru Gojo. I am genuinely so grateful for Gege bringing Miguel back because I suspect he is about to clean up a pretty significant inconsistency and reveal a highly mysterious and interesting part of the story. Gojo looked out across the entire night parade of 100 demons and identified a grand total of 1 actual threat. Miguel, the man who walked away from Gojo's beatdown unharmed, the one who showed no fear, and the one who wields the technique-disrupting black rope. Realistically, Miguel fought Gojo in JJK 0 back before Gege really knew what he was doing with his own power system. Blue punches probably weren't even in Gege's head back then, making for a noticeable inconsistency when we saw Miguel tank punches that could cave in Sukuna's chest. I believe reintroducing Miguel at a time like this means we are going to see A. Miguel's cursed technique and applications of cursed energy that no Japanese sorcerers other than Gojo and Yuta are aware of. B. A glimpse into Miguel's background, who his family is and why he was working with Geto in the first place. C. What deal he cut with Gojo at the end of their fight. And finally, A, B, C, D, what he was teaching Yuta Okotsu in Africa. Some people say this reveal is random and Gege is trolling, but I see it as the genuine exact opposite of this. Revealing a massively mysterious character like Miguel, who Gojo trusted enough to train Yuta, who survived Gojo, who isn't even from Japan, indicates that Gege is getting closer and closer to dropping a massive bomb on us. I mean, for all we know, Sukuna is only the strongest sorcerer in Japan's history. Let's also not forget that Gege says every character has a purpose to serve, and when they finally serve it, that is when he will kill them off. Miguel's only ties to this fight are through Satoru Gojo and Yuta Okotsu, so I think his purpose is to save/awaken/deliver something important to his injured student, resulting in his return. I also believe that Miguel has been serving this purpose already off screen while Kusukabe and Maki were fighting Sukuna. Despite how strong Miguel may be, I see no scenario where he openly challenges Sukuna, but somehow finds a way to escape to Shoko and Okotsu, and Sukuna just allowing it. I will probably make a separate video properly deep diving Miguel and Yuta Okotsu's return later, but for now, I'ma predict that Miguel has served his purpose already, and must now hold off Sukuna long enough for our boy Okotsu and maybe Yuji Itadori to fully recover, just like he did against Gojo. Before finishing up, I feel it's also necessary to appreciate Miguel's actual actions in this chapter. Bro perception blitzed and then egoed Heion Ero Sukuna. The first thing this man said was literally, "How the f*** haven't you heard of me?" Bro, he just said this to Heion Ero Sukuna, who has just slammed some of the strongest characters in the entire verse. My conclusion for chapter 254 is as follows. Kusukabe cooked way more than most of you expected. Miguel is about to cook way more than most of you expect. But out of everybody, Gege Akutami will remain the true king of cooking despite all of the doubtful haters. Again, I am very sorry for the late review. However, there is a plus side because I have started streaming to discuss new chapters and some other things, so please do make sure that you stay tuned for those streams. They are very entertaining and I have a great time. Please also do drop me a Twitter follow. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you very much for watching and I will see you next time.